In this lesson, we're going to be talking about Twitter share buttons. So going back to the last lesson, we added a follow button. And the difference between a follow button and a share button is more to share content from the website or a particular web page, as opposed to follow is used as well as linking out to your profile. That's just a way to connect your social networks with your website in order to grow those social networks. So if you want people to be actually sharing some of your content and sharing it on Twitter, what you would be doing is you would be adding a Twitter share button. And as when before we were looking at the different types of buttons in the Twitter resources, we've got this ability to share. So here we've got a share URL, we've got a share title, we can show the count just as we were with the follow, and we can customize all of these different items. And then we've also got the option to make it a large button. And then we've got some language options down here as well. So when you go through these options, you've got ability to make a custom message. And as you can see, when we're adding that in, it's going to update that, and we're just going to put localhost. And now we can go and we can copy out this content. And normally when you are doing this type of sharing, you're going to try to share some content. So I'm going to put this share information here at the bottom of this section here. And I'm just going to call it share content. And again, it's adding in all of this script, so we don't need to do this again. So we're going to just keep that initial script that we had there. And you can see again there's customization options, much like the follow, where we've got class, Twitter share button, data URL, so this is the URL that we're linking out to. Make a custom message is going to be the custom text message. And what it's going to be doing, it's going to be sending all of this information out to the share. We have the option to include these other values as well. So much like the follow, again, you've got a size and you've got a count. So the way that's going to look on the website, it's simply going to look like this. And when we click it, you see that the Twitter message is already pre-populated in there. And this gives us ability to link particularly to pieces of content on your website, or we could just make the link to the entire website. So either way, you can see that it is linking within this format over to our web content. And within the later lessons, we're going to be showing you better ways to do this, just to use JavaScript to simply lock and send content to this URL. So it's Twitter intent tweet. And then here we've got our refer URL, and we've got some source, and we've got text there. And as you can see, if you are familiar with URI encoding, component encoding, so this has been encoded, so it's gotten rid of all of those spaces and turned it into these characters, the %20. So this is just means that these are spaces, and when it gets decoded, it will interpret them as spaces. So what it's doing in the message, it's actually decoding this information here. So if you were to make any changes to here, to this URL, it would change whatever the message is there. So we're going to be going through some of the other buttons as well. So you've got the ability to hashtag tweet as well as mention. And hashtag tweet is used to encourage posting in regards to a particular hashtag. So tweet this hashtag, and the button will have that hashtag in it. So I'm just going to call it hashtag, and then again text tweet. So text. This is my text, and then we've got some Twitter accounts there, and then again the URL. So I'm just going to do localhost again, and keep it a large button. And now copy out that code, and we'll just take a quick look at what the difference between the code is. And we see here that it's going to twitter.com intent tweet. And so that's the difference between the two. And as we saw before, that this is the actual URL that Twitter is using. So when we look at it within our JavaScript, we're going to actually be sending over this content directly dynamically to this URL. Instead of using the Twitter share, we're going to use intent/tweet. And that's the reason why, because we're able to more customize it. So we're able to do this hashtag, we've got this text, and we've got some additional information we can send there. And all it's really doing is it's just pre-populating that text and it's populating that hashtag. So when we go back out, we save it, we go back out, and just to show you what the difference is between the tweet and tweet with the hashtag. And when we click the button, so we get that same pop-up, but we do have that hashtag added there in the end. And that's all that that's doing. That's the only difference between these URLs, is that it's got this hashtag that's being added in. And it knows that this content here is a hashtag, so you don't actually have to add that hash within your text. So that's keeping them separated out. And if you had a bunch of hashtags, they would just simply be listed out there. And when we go back to the buttons, there's one last one here that we want to go over within this lesson, and this is just going to be the mention. So again, similar to the way that hashtag works, is it allows you to communicate a Twitter account, to mention Twitter accounts. And this is great if you wanted to place it within your contact section, contact us, about me section, or help pages. In order to contact your customer support. So essentially, a mention is just an encouragement for users to communicate with you over to your Twitter handle. And you don't see this used as often as the follow or hashtag, sending over the messages, but again, this is just used to encourage connecting to your Twitter handle and communicating with you directly. So when they would mention you, then you would open up that line of communication with them. Again, the same thing where you just pull out that content, you customize what the button options are, you pull out that content and post it within your web page. So we're going to actually just remove that one out and keep that one in for future lessons that we're going to talk about what we're doing with the sharing, and we're going to talk about how to customize this text message on the fly with content directly from your web page. So that's upcoming in future lessons.